Listen, you know what time it is. It's time for another episode of your favorite new podcast entitled We Hate You in an Accent. All right, gather around. We back in this thing once again in our new home, the Content Creation Factory, where your creativity is assembled. This is We Hate Your Internet. It's a podcast designed to bring awareness on the problematic effects of the internet on our lives, as well as celebrate the beautiful simplicity of our humanity. Okay, I'm Wilfred Hamilton, your host, sitting alongside me. You know what I'm saying? She got the Coach Tennis. I didn't even know Coach made tennis, but apparently you got to be on an exclusive list to get those joints. You know what I'm saying? Last week she had the boots. This week is Coach. If you didn't know, now you know. Her name is
Clara. See, it's got the C. C for Clara.
Raise it up for the people.
C for Clara.
It's totally exclusive. No. Custom made.
I'm kidding.
Let us move on. Clara. Is in the, no. Coach Clara. Coach Clara. Oh goodness. We continue our march toward 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. Road to 1,000. We need you to go ahead and subscribe for us, good people. Stop lurking in the shadows. We see you now. Come out. Reveal yourselves. No need to be afraid. You know what I mean? Hit subscribe. Indeed, man. Join the community, man. You got to be on the outside. Come on in. It's warm in here. Hit the subscribe button. You know what I mean? Each subscriber helps the algorithm match another individual that may like the content. And so you help us on our journey, spreading this message, ultimately and helping accomplishing our ultimate goal, which is to be a top 10 podcast in the world. So do that. If you're listening, we want to thank you for tuning in. We ask that you go ahead and take a little bit of time, just rate the show. And then if you're on Apple, you can review the show. Something simple as, we love this show, or I love this show, will suffice. You know what I mean? And we just appreciate all the support, all the comments, all the messages, direct messages, support with the T-shirt. You know, we still got the T-shirt out there. It's floating around. Mm-hmm. People have purchased them. They've been pleased. I think you will be too. You know what I'm saying? Links in the bio. I'm going to jump right into the content for today. Like I said, once again, we just want to say thank you. Today, we want to have another AI update episode. It's been quite some time since we had one of those. Yeah, it's been a while. Yeah, I think.
And so much has happened.
Man, listen, because this thing is moving faster than the monorail on The Simpsons. But anyway, so at light speed. But anyway, yeah, it's been a lot going on in the AI space. As I said before, I think that the development of AI is probably the most important development that's happening on the planet right now. Yeah. I think that it's going to cause a seismic shift in our life, in every aspect of our lives. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? We always have on our comment sections, and we post things, we always have hashtag stay human. And a part of that is because our humanity is under attack. I'm not sure if it's intentional, but that's what's happening. And pretty soon people are going to be asking the question, what is a human being? Mm. You know what I mean? And as crazy as that sounds, like, if you were to just think about it, like, ask yourself that question, what is a human being? You're having a hard enough time asking, what is a man or what is a woman? You know what I'm saying? So, like, we're quickly losing ourselves, losing sense of, we've already gotten so far away from our biology, so far away from our natural fit in nature, and all those things have taken a toll on our psychology and the quality of our lives. Now, obviously, I'm not trying to say that, hey, we need to go back to living in caves and hunting and wearing skins. You see what I'm saying? But I do think that it's very important to know and to keep in touch with where you come from. and how you are designed. What is your origin? I think that's extremely important because once you lose sight of that, then you can float far, far away into a place to uncharted waters. And so, AI updates. I want to come off the rip. You know what I mean? Microsoft and OpenAI have combined forces to fund a company called Figure, and they are a company that is designing humanoid robots to accomplish, they say, menial human task. You know what I mean? And they already, you may have seen a video floating around, maybe not, where they were able to teach this robot how to pour a cup of coffee. Now that's like, oh, who cares about a cup of coffee?
No,
but the thing learned it in an hour. You know what I'm saying? And then it learned how to make the process more efficient all by itself. Now you may say, well, like I said once again, I mean, hey man, it'd be cool to see a robot at Starbucks, right? But you know, all these things, these are just another link in the chain of the things that we've been talking about, getting us one step closer to the things we've been warning you guys about. Human beings are slowly but surely becoming, or will be becoming, obsolete. You know what I mean? In the workforce, with AI being able to already do a lot of menial tasks, just in the interface, the software side of it alone, now they're going to give it a tangible interface or something that you can interact with in the real world, so to speak, with a robot that can do. And what task can they not train it to do? You know what I mean? And for those that may not have watched the first 3 updates we've talked about, one of the things we've talked about is where this leads to. It's going to lead to UBI, you know what I mean, where the government basically gives you a check every month. People say, yay, free money, right? But no, it comes with a string. A string is definitely attached because if the government is taking care or giving you your livelihood, then it essentially has control over what you can and can't do, what you can and cannot say, what you've already kind of seen with social media anyway, and cancel culture and all that kind of jazz. You know what I'm saying? Like you almost don't even have a right to express your real thoughts anymore without ramifications. Starting on social media, then it can lead to you getting fired from your job. You know what I mean? And it wreaks havoc in your whole livelihood. It all depends on what the powers that be like or don't like.
You know, side note to that, and that's actually happening right now too, by the way, because of the fact that, with Israel and Palestine, what was going on, what is still going on, there were actually soldiers, U.S. soldiers, who were posting and speaking their opinions, like pro-Palestinian opinions and sharing these things. And the government said that they didn't like that, and they were trying to tell them they cannot share that content. But, then it comes to like, okay, all they want is kind of like a tool, you know what I mean? But it does kind of go to your point. Like, there are strings attached. Like, they expect you to behave and do certain things because we see that already.
Listen, I mean, like I said, but if the government becomes the sole provider for your livelihood, then they essentially have control over you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And, you have the I forgot the word what it is, but were they offering housing or living spaces? And we talked about in the last episode how they were in some of the major cities. They're converting some of the empty office spaces into residential spaces for people to be able to have lower income homes, whatever the case may be, or government subsidized housing, basically. But once again, if they're providing your home, they're providing you income, which of course is going to provide your food. I mean,
and some companies do that too. Like they do that in Mexico, like Amazon. They have a warehouse and they provide living, but you have to work for Amazon. I wouldn't be surprised if they start doing like Walmarts and, you know what I mean? Like different here.
Listen, man. And then we had Ready Player One, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, that's kind of a joke, but it's not.
Yeah.
But we talk about these things because, like, as a human being, you're born free. You're born to be able to operate and ultimately figure out how to best survive for yourself and for your community, for your family. You see what I'm saying? For your tribe. Like, you have to figure out and use your ingenuity and use your strength and your talents to provide a living for yourself. That's essential to the purpose of a human being. Without those things, like, human beings get lost, and that's when you start having all kind of issues with mental health and all that kind of stuff. All the damage and things relate, like all the issues you start to see is because human beings we are shifting further and further away from our natural structure. And like I said, I'm not talking about cave paintings and fires in the middle of the night, but we're dealing with having purpose, having work. You know what I mean? Learning and adapting to survive and to function within community. Those things are inherent in our humanity. But the more and more we get further and further away with social media, we have artificial living in illusions and imaginations and all this convenience and all this kind of stuff is taking us away from our purpose. And that's what's causing so much angst and anxiety and mental health and all this kind of stuff in all these people. Like, you're not designed to operate like this. You're not designed, we talked about this multiple times, and you'll hear it multiple times in the future. We're not designed to be solitary creatures. But that's essentially what we are becoming. And you're starting to see the results of this. You know what I'm saying? And so I've been talking for a minute. You have anything I want to? I've been talking the whole time.
No, you're good.
I'm passionate about this stuff.
Because it's some heavy stuff. It's interesting too. Like, I guess you know how I feel about it. We talk about it all the time. But like, my personal take on this, I totally understand, and I think it's very important to acknowledge like how it affects the economy. But I think that the social impact and the way that, like, I guess just humans interact with other humans is just as critical, in my opinion.
Great.
Like, some of the articles that we share amongst each other is like we see with like the bots online, the online bots, even like sex bots. And that's one of the things that I know might be like a weird or difficult topic for some, but that's a real thing. Like, people create these things, Yes. And for me, I just feel like
good money doing it too.
They do. And it's crazy to think about. Like, if you think about how we're becoming more isolated, but we're still human, we still have these needs, right? And they're going to try to profit off these needs. You know what I mean? Like, they're making these things to satisfy those needs and help you, but it's really not helping you in any way, shape, or form. That's kind of for me what makes me uncomfortable, because I know, we talked about like the pouring a cup of coffee, but what if you're that waitress, you walk into to work and you're about to serve this lovely couple and you see that the guy has a robot wife, or like, that, like, how do you deal with that or interact with that? Because that's a real thing. About wife. Like, what's she gonna have? You know what I mean? Like, but
ZR36.
And I don't think that's too. We laugh and it sounds like insane, but people do this. Like, you can go online, and there's actually this guy that I seen a while back who legit married his sex doll. Like, married it.
Yeah. And
I know that might be like, ha ha hee hee right now, but like, let's think about that. This is an object.
Yes.
This
inanimate.
It's an inanimate object, and it's not human. It doesn't look human. We tell ourselves it does, like, because has skin or hair, but it really doesn't. Like, if you compare that to a real human, you can tell which is which. Like, I just think about what that effect has on a human's psychology, because we can identify that behavior with like humans and animals, right? Like that would be bestiality, and it's wrong. And something's wrong with that individual. But what do we do with a human and like an inanimate object, a robot or a doll? Like, what do you call that? What do you identify that?
If I might, you know what I mean? Like, and the crazy thing about all of that really is that it is the complexity of human interaction that is key in our overall development, right? Like some of the things that are essential in your learning and things that you've learned and that have become essential in the person that you've become have come through like working through difficult situations.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Disagreements, learning how to operate. And we talked about these things before in multiple episodes also. Having a wife or having a relationship with another human being forces you to learn. It forces you to evolve.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It forces you to examine yourself, and you may find out things about yourself in that process that makes you a better person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When you have disagreements, when you go through difficult situations, differences of opinion, disappointment together, or you go through tragedy together, like these things, sometimes you come out on the other end of that with a stronger bond. But having a relationship with software or a humanoid robot, for that matter, and this thing knows you and is designed to like cater to you.
But honestly though, like even to the basic function of sex, like it ain't right. And I'll say this.
It ain't right.
I'll say this because of this. Let's reel it back, right? And let's just look at the internet. A 13-year-old child now, a 13-year-old boy can look at more naked women than any king of the past ever could. True. What does that do to someone? And keep that in your head. What does that do to a person? We see people who we see people who are addicted to pornography, like addicted. It ruins they're dysfunctional. They cannot, perform or they can't even. I've heard of individuals who like they cannot have a healthy relationship with their significant other because they just don't find that person attractive because they're so used to seeing like perfection or what they think is perfection on the internet, right? So if that's already an expectation, like we see that right now, that's happening as we speak. Now let's add in sex bots in this or you know what I mean? Like what is that gonna do? You get what I'm saying?
I do.
Like even just that basic function, like I totally agree with what you're saying, like with like the psychological, emotional, social connection, but let's even just the function, of as humans we want to like it's natural as animals you one of the purposes is to create offspring, to mate, to or whatever, have a legacy of some kind, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's something that like I feel like they really have to kind of prepare in a way for something like or really consider the consequences to this, because having a conversation with someone who straight up like they like this is normal, like oh yeah no this is my wife or this is my like it's just odd to me. I just think that's super uncomfortable. And how are they going to treat women? You know what I mean? How is an interaction? Because now you're used to having this doll that doesn't talk back to you or doesn't talk at all, or you know what I mean? Like how do they? You get what I'm saying?
Yes I do. That goes. I mean. Listen,
I know it's a lot.
No, it's a lot. It's a lot, but it's really not, because at the end of the day, like sex is not designed to be purely physical. There is an emotional aspect of sex too, and so it just like pornography. Like if you're just watching pornography, like it's not meant to be just like sex. Is not meant to just be by yourself like that. Like it's not, you know what I mean? Like, and so, having the issue of not being able to relate to other people, we're going right back in the loop. Mm-hmm. It's going to cause isolation. How will this person respond to a woman? And like I said, like let's not kid ourselves. Like they have adult toys and all that kind of stuff. Women watch pornography too. So like if you say, well, I don't need no man because I got this, or robot Jack, you know, I got a robot Jack, you know. So, and that's what goes back to the point. That's why I'll go back to the point of the psychological part.
Yeah.
You may say, okay, well, yeah, I'm getting my rocks off. You know what I'm saying? But like,
what is it doing? Like it's
sex isn't designed to just be like that. And if you get caught in this down this rabbit hole of just seeking pleasure, then like any other lust, you know what I'm saying, or like any other drug, any other addiction, it leads you down this path that like you find it hard coming back from. You always chasing, and you can never reach it, and you get more and more crazy, and the crazier it gets, the more unhappy you get.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And like that's the issue. Whether it be pornography or whether it be any kind of addiction for that matter, you know what I'm saying? Like you're constantly chasing, and the further down the line you get, the more unhappy you get, until eventually you say, you know what, I don't want to live no more. I just want to kill myself. Like I feel more shame because I'm with this inanimate object. Like, and I'm pretending like this thing like me, but this thing don't like me. This thing isn't real. You know what I'm saying? Then it makes you insecure.
Sounds
like,
crazy.
It is. It sounds crazy because it is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And like, sex industry is multi-billion-dollar industry, right?
Yeah.
Cats making buku cash, and like you said, it's something that it's like people be involved with this stuff. They're doing it. It is what it is. But like psychologically, like sex isn't designed that way. These are the issues that arise from it. I mean, I remember a story. We're gonna be on that line, and we'll kind of talk. We'll kind of move on a little bit. I remember I was watching a documentary about this guy. He's a wrestler. Jake the Snake Roberts was his name. I used to like back in the 80s. He was pretty big. You know what I'm saying? He had a snake named Damien. Anyway, and he was just talking about like his life, and he was married, and then he went into the WWF, which is WWE now, for the youngsters, and like, when he started to really rise up in popularity, he started getting popular with the ladies too. And so like he going, and like I was having a conversation with my wife about this. Like people have this idea of like sexual liberation and like just being able to just go and just do whatever feels good to you. And it's just like, man, it's okay because it's my, and people are chasing after lust. You know what I'm saying? And then you wonder, you start hearing these strange stories about people doing all kind of strange, crazy stuff. My wife was messing around, went down a rabbit hole on YouTube and found some crazy stuff she's telling me about rich people's sexual appetite. And escorts and all that. She got down a rabbit hole, man. And she came out, eyes all big. Oh. And it's just like wild, crazy stuff, you know what I'm saying? There's feces involved, and it's crazy. You know what I'm saying? Wow. He's like, how do you get there? How does a person like everybody Epstein, and they have these children on the island, they having sex with these little girls, and like you have these little sex rings where they having 8, 9-year-old girls, and they're like, so how does a person do that? Here's how. Because lust can't be satisfied. That's why. Everybody got these fantasies in their head about like, oh man, I love to do this, I love to do that, I love to be with 2 girls, I want to be with 3 girls, or I want to have 2 guys, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? You start off with just being young, so I want to try having regular sex with one person. You do that, do it a couple of times, and then you start seeing some other stuff on YouTube, or on the internet, and people telling stories about this and that, and I want to try that, and you start trying that. So from a guy's perspective, let's say, okay, now I'm gonna be with 2 girls. Okay, you be with 2 girls. Okay, you've done that. I'm gonna do it 3. Okay, 3. Okay, how many girls can you add to the bed? Then after a while, it's just flesh, and so then your lust wants more. You're not satisfied. Before you know it, like you say, like you with a dude that's dressed like a girl. You're like, man, that's crazy. But it's all sensuality, and you're just trying to kind of like find something that feels good to you. And then, like I said, so you wonder, then all of a sudden you start going down these paths where, especially the rich people, because they got money and resources, can buy you whatever you want. So if that's one thing that's sad about people that are wealthy. Not all wealthy people, but this is an issue that it's really a sad thing that they run into. They may not understand how sad it is, but it really is that when you become, you have a certain level of wealth where you have excess where you can buy whatever you want, you start realizing that people are for sale. And when you get to that level and you start realizing everybody got a price and you got enough money to be able to pay it, then a real crazy sad thing happens, because then you start to isolate yourself. You become isolated in that sense, because then you no longer respect people's humanity. It's like, well, man, they just want money. You ask how Epstein does these things. It's because he deduced it down to these young girls. They're like being naughty. They want to use me. That's what he deduces in his head. What I'm saying, they're being naughty. They think I'm just some old man, and they're gonna try to take money out of my pocket. But I'm gonna use them. That's the thought process. He's profiling a certain kind of a girl.
Question. I gotta ask you this.
Okay.
Because I've read this article and I was like, oh, I don't want to read this because it made me uncomfortable, and I want to know because I'm following you. So then, do you think bots are a good thing?
No. Because
then a human being wouldn't have to.
I do not, because it's gonna lead to the same problems. How much there is no end to lust. So you get this bot and you can dress it up how you want to dress. You can make it do whatever you want to do.
But a bot is not a person, though.
True, but eventually you're gonna get tired of the bot, because the bot has so many. But the bot is not a real person, and sex, once again, is not just physical; it's mental and it's emotional too. So then you ask the question, "Woo, we went down a path, boy, and we did not get into some other stuff. But we gonna stay here because I think it's important." You ask a question, and this is sensitive, but I'm just gonna keep it real. How can a man 40, 50 years old have sex or rape this 8-year-old girl? Yeah. It's the psychological part. It's not the physical thing. I can have sex with anybody I want. Like, I can have sex with all kind of women if I want, because I got enough money. But I choose to have sex with this 9-year-old girl because it's psychological. It's the power that I'm craving. That's what it is. That's what I'm feeding right now. It's the power over this innocent individual that I get to exert. That's what it is. And it's like, oh, that's disturbing. It is, but that's what it is. A robot, that's gonna get bored. You're gonna get bored with that real quick, because it don't have any life. It don't have any kind of resistance. It's not a psychological aspect to a robot. It's designed to do what you want it to do. A human being, on the other hand, that's something totally, a rapist for that matter. A rapist, they have a profile. The kind of woman that it's a psychological thing. She looked like this person that I wanted, or did me wrong, or whatever. And it's the psychological thing to say, I was able to take this person and dominate them in this way. It ain't the physical, like, sexual activity with this person. It's the psychological part that they're getting off on. You know what I'm saying? And so, like, same thing happens with pornography. You watch pornography and you watch it the first time, it's naked pictures, like, oh, wow. And then you start going down a hole, and you start looking for different things and different stuff to try to kind of find that same high that you did. It's like crack. It's like drugs, like alcohol, like anything else. It's an addiction. You know what I'm saying? And for those that are religious, if you want to go religious, it's sin. That's what sin is. It's an addiction. And that's the problem with it. It continues to keep you reaching. You know what I'm saying? You think you can control it, but they got control over you. The Bible calls it the deceitfulness of sin. You think you can control it, it got you. It's like a full Nelson. You know what I'm saying? When they put you in the back, they got you up there. You think, I got you, then they hit you with the reverse, and then I got you hung up. Adultery, cheat, all this stuff. All that stuff, it just takes you down the hole. So anyway, so anyway, psychological. It's a psychological part. Now we're going back to the story of Jake Snake Roberts. He got popular, and he started messing around with like women on the road. One woman, then he in a bed with 2 women, then he in a bed with 3 women, then he in a bed with 4 women, then he have a bed full of women, and he just in and out. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, anyway, so I was immature of me. But then he got home to his wife, who been waiting for him, and he, you know what I'm saying, he Roman noodle. You know what I'm saying? Like, dang, man. I said I was gonna be mature about this. But he just, hey man, it ain't, you mentioned it. It ain't working, man.
Yeah.
Because he can no longer be stimulated by just this one woman. Like he's experienced too much. He's gone too far, and just this regular standard sex ain't enough, man. It ain't enough mental stimulation for me. I just can't dude. And the thing about it is, and he said it broke his heart. He's telling a story, and he cried on the interview. It broke his heart because he loved his wife, or he cared about his wife, but he went too far. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. But listen, yes, I'm with you. I saw that look, and I'm with you. But when you're chasing, you ain't thinking about the other stuff.
It's like an alcoholic.
Exactly.
They're
You may really care
bottle.
about your kids, like when you're sober, but when alcohol call, you got to answer, and it's just, or a person on drugs. Like I don't think they hate their kids, but they just, when the drug call, I gotta go, and it breaks my heart when I wake up and I've been gone for 3 days.
Yeah, but
like,
you do have to be strong enough. Like all that, I think is I understand it, but at the end of the day, I think, and this is where we have to kind of really shake ourselves awake. If you care, you need to recognize that and do something to either prevent it or stop it or change it, because ultimately, yeah, I can tell you I love you, but if I don't respect you, or if I tell you I'm sorry and I do it again, what am I really saying? What am I really saying?
Yeah.
And I think that's something that you can't lose. Like, sure, we can identify these things and we can justify it in well, not justify it. We can understand it in some way, but we can't use that to justify it,
Yeah. I agree 100%. I mean, and people can change. One of the things we talked about on a couple of episodes, like people can change. You get to the point where you get so used to a thing that you feel like you can't change. Like, this is just what I do. I can't, it got me. But you can change. You know what I'm saying? And before you can do any kind of change, you have to believe that you can change. You know what I mean? That's another thing that is a human quality. Humans get to choose. Humans have choice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And in a world where you feel like so much that you don't have this is just the way things are.
You're in charge of your own programming. It totally depends on what you subscribe to.
You choose. That is when we talk about the beautiful simplicity of our humanity. That's one of the things that are beautifully simple. You get to choose, man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Okay. I think we've our time. You know what I'm saying? Our time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's about up. We're gonna start wrapping this thing up. There's a lot more things we want to touch on.
Maybe on the next AI updates. I'm sure there's going to be like a ton more because
we didn't even get to touch on Elon Musk and the Neuralink that he put in that man.
We'll definitely have to do another one. But I think this is a good topic. I feel like people need to also, we don't talk about it enough. We see always articles, AI in the economy, AI, jobs, but at the end of the day, like what about social interaction, psychology,
That's the thing. You know what I'm saying? People was up in arms about Taylor Swift. And they use AI to make some naked pictures of Taylor Swift, and people was upset about that, boy. It's really that funny.
Yeah, that's messed up. But yeah, no. I mean, I think that the same energy, you got to bring the same energy here too. You know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, just think about how it's gonna affect your kids if you have kids, or if you plan on having. How is this gonna change how they interact and how they find partners or understand themselves? So. But very, very important topic, I think.
You're talking about having kids. I mean, see, we ain't even scratched on the decline in birth rates. You know what I'm saying? Because people don't want to have kids no more because they're afraid that either they can't take care of, or they don't want to bring them into a world like this.
Yeah.
Woo! And then that will bring some results as well. We ain't got time. We can't get into it, but we're going to get to it.
I know, so many good topics. We'll continue. Yeah, I mean, we still have...
Because we ain't going nowhere.
Yeah.
We ain't going nowhere, so we got some time.
Yeah.
Wow. Stay tuned for more updates on AI. If you see something that you find interesting, feel free to DM us or shoot it to us on Instagram or whatever. We'll take a look at it. If something you'd like us to touch on, we'll do so. We're probably gonna try to have an AI update episode at least every other month, if not every month. You know what I'm saying? Because it's moving so fast, so much going on, and people need to be aware because what's gonna happen is, and I promise I'm gonna be done. What's gonna happen is that people are gonna wake up one day, and then this stuff is just happening.
All gonna be
and it's gonna be like, what in the world is going on? And like you in the middle of it, it's almost like it's like the internet. You know what I'm saying? Like people weren't really on the internet, and all of a sudden,
now it is a part of your life.
Every day, like it's on your phone. Like you cannot function in the world
without your phone.
In the world without the internet and without your phone. You know what I'm saying? Streaming, like that's how it's gonna be. And all of a sudden it's like, this is just what it is. You know what I mean? Like, and if you're not prepared for the negative stuff that comes along with it, and you can start trying to navigate and figure out how you want to, you can choose how you want to approach it. You know what I'm saying?